Celebrity feuds are a dime a dozen. It seems like the masses can't get enough of hearing about famous people getting into fights with each other. But on occasion, a celebrity feud becomes so iconic it stands the test of time, and sometimes even gets immortalized on TV and in films. Right now, I am counting down the top 10 most iconic celebrity feuds of all time. Here for you on IO. What's gravy, y'all? This is InformOverload. I'm Charlotte, serving you spicy trending news updates and top 10 lists every single goddamn day of the week. Like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and follow us on socials. Let's slide right in at number 10 with Debbie Reynolds versus Elizabeth Taylor. Debbie and Liz used to be pretty good friends, but when Elizabeth Taylor's husband Mike Todd passed away in a 1958 plane crash, Debbie's husband Eddie Fisher consoled her, which eventually developed into an affair. Speaking to the Daily Mail in 2010, Debbie said, "I was the last to find out about it. There had been hints in the papers, and I had noticed that when I turned up at functions or parties on my own, friends were whispering. Although I didn't want to find out the truth, I had to face up to it. Even so, it was a great shock to find them together. It left me shattered." Interestingly, it was none other than Star Wars' Carrie Fisher who mended the fence between these two. Carrie Fisher was Debbie Reynolds' daughter, just FYI. Carrie co-wrote the film These Old Broads, a film around 3 feuding former Hollywood stars. In the film, Debbie and Elizabeth shared a scene that was a not so subtle reference to their previous scandal. It was Carrie's way of getting them to bury the hatchet and move on, which they definitely did. At number 9 on the list, we got Naomi Campbell versus Tyra Banks. Early in Tyra's career, she and British supermodel Naomi Campbell had a very open and public feud. Tyra recently spoke out about the experience in the Wall Street Journal. "It wasn't a rivalry. I'm very sensitive to that word because a rivalry is between two equals to me, whereas one was very dominant. She was a supermodel and I was just this new girl that had got on a plane from Paris and was studying fashion and magazines. As much as I was booking fashion shows, people didn't know I was going home at night crying my eyes out because the woman I was looking up to seemed like she just didn't want me to be there and was doing everything in her power to make me go away." Although at the time Tyra thought Naomi's behavior toward her was just plain evil, now she understands the fashion industry and it was all about a token. Naomi was the token black supermodel and Tyra was the new black girl that was gonna take her spot. But it seems like these two do have a lot of respect for each other. In a 2015 interview with Elle, Naomi Campbell praised Tyra Banks and said, "I'm proud of her as a woman of color. She's given girls opportunity and God bless her." At number 8, we have Elton John versus Madonna. There are few pop stars more iconic than Elton John and Madonna. Both are trailblazers in their own right, but Elton and Madonna have been feuding since about 2004. Madonna doesn't usually address the feud in public, but Elton has been known to let his mouth run away with him. Here are a few examples of Elton talking trash about Madonna. While accepting the award for Classic Songwriter at the 2004 Q Awards, he said, "Madonna, best live act? F off. Since when has lip syncing been live?" Sorry about that, but I think everyone who lip syncs on stage in public when you pay 75 quid to see them should be shot. Thank you very much. That's me off her Christmas card list, but do I give a toss? No. Then during an interview with Carson Daly at the 2012 Golden Globe Awards, Elton was asked who had the best chance of winning Best Original Song that night. He then said Madonna didn't have an effing chance of winning, and she actually incidentally won the award later that night. At number 7, Paris Hilton versus Nicole Richie. It was more than a little dramatic when childhood best friends and co-stars Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie declared war on each other. It was at the height of their fame from the reality series The Simple Life that they suddenly decided that they didn't want to be friends. It was honestly super difficult to open a magazine in the early 2000s and not read about Paris and Nicole. Paris said in a statement to press in 2005, "It's no big secret that Nicole and I are no longer friends. Nicole knows what she did and that's all I'm ever gonna say about it." Well, that isn't cryptic at all. So why do we think that these two best friends suddenly had a falling out? People magazine reported that Richie was jealous of all the attention that Paris Hilton was getting from the media. She was also reportedly not invited to a few of Paris's events and she was left out when Paris appeared on Saturday Night Live. What did Nicole Richie do in response? She apparently had a party to celebrate Paris's appearance on SNL, followed by a screening of Paris's 2003 adult film. That's cold, dude. That's ice cold. It seems the two made up eventually. They filmed 2 more seasons of The Simple Life. They don't hate one another, but their relationship just isn't the same. Kind of unfortunate these two had a falling out because they were both it girls together, but without each other, they both kind of fell off the trending page. At number 6, we have Joan Rivers versus Johnny Carson. Johnny and Joan used to be good friends. For 20 years, Joan was one of the most popular guests on The Tonight Show. That is until she decided she wanted to host her own talk show against Johnny Carson, the king of late night TV. It took a long time before Joan Rivers would get her big break. It was arguably Johnny Carson who gave it to her. She auditioned for The Late Show many times without success. By 1965, at age 31, she was told she was washed up by most of the industry. But her appearance on Carson's show in February 1965 was her one-way ticket to the top. After that, she appeared on the show 100 times alongside Johnny Carson. When Joan started her own daytime talk show in '68, Carson was the first guest. She often credited him with giving her her big break on the show. She would fill in for Carson as a guest host, then eventually became the main guest host when Carson was away. But when Carson was going to retire, NBC put together a list of replacements. Joan wasn't on the list. So she ended up going to Fox Television and signing a very lucrative $10 million deal with her husband as the producer. Joan made the mistake of staying quiet about the deal, and she assumed that Carson would be supportive, but eventually the news leaked out and Carson found out. Joan reportedly tried to call him, he hung up on her, then he said that she didn't call him. They never spoke again before Johnny Carson died in 2005. And unfortunately, The Late Show on Fox was a failure. Joan separated from her husband, and then her ex-husband committed suicide shortly after, leaving Joan Rivers in a mountain of debt. Halfway there, at number 5, we have Lindsay Lohan versus Hilary Duff. During the early 2000s, there were two teen it girls of the moment. We got Hilary Duff and Lindsay Lohan. Both were Disney stars that were way too famous for their own good. Honestly, these two should have been friends with all the things they had in common: acting, singing, Disney, but they also had a person in common: Aaron Carter. Hilary Duff met Aaron Carter on the set of Lizzie McGuire in 2001, and they dated for about a year and a half. But then, according to BuzzFeed, Aaron broke up with Hilary Duff to be with Lindsay because he was bored. Then Aaron went back to Hilary Duff, and Lindsay accused her of stealing her boyfriend, something Hilary denied was true to Allure magazine in 2008. She said, "I've never stolen anyone's boyfriend. I don't know how you do that. She was talking about it and I wasn't. It made us both look bad and put up a big weirdness." At number 4 on this list, we have Kanye West versus Jay Z. Kanye and Jay Z worked together for a long time, since the 90s when Kanye was producing tracks for Rockefeller Records. Kanye praised Jay Z in tracks like Big Brother, but then subtly referred to their sibling rivalry and accused Jay Z of copying him when he did a collab with Coldplay. Fast forward to 2009 and the infamous incident took place. You know, the incident when Kanye took the microphone from Taylor Swift, who won for Best Music Video at the VMAs, and said that Beyonce should have won instead. Beyonce was freaking out, and apparently she cried over it. She felt very bad for Taylor Swift. In 2011, Kanye and Jay Z released their album together, Watch the Throne, and then they went on tour together. But by 2013, Jay Z spoke in interviews about the challenges of working with Kanye. It became really apparent that the feud had begun when Jay Z and Beyonce did not attend Kanye and Kim's wedding in 2014. Kanye later said that this was when the beef actually started. Kim was then robbed in 2016 in Paris, and afterward Kanye criticized Jay Z for not reaching out to her to see if she was okay. From then on, Kanye released a track with the lyrics "Kill Jay Z," and then Kanye left Tidal. The documentary Public Enemies was released. Recently, however, like in the last couple of years, it seems that Kanye and Jay Z have finally reunited. The Carters wore Kanye's clothing on Instagram, and Kanye and Jay Z were seen on video in the same room together in 2019 at Diddy's 50th birthday party. At number 3, we have Donald Trump versus Rosie O'Donnell. There isn't a single person on this earth that isn't aware that Donald Trump and Rosie O'Donnell hate each other. Rosie is pretty much Donald Trump's arch nemesis. The feud dates back to December 2006, when Donald Trump decided not to fire Miss USA Tara Conner after it was reported she was using drugs, drinking while underage, and other not-so Miss USA allegations. After Trump announced he would give Tara a second chance, Rosie said on The View that she doesn't enjoy Trump, adding that he went bankrupt, something Trump has always denied. Rosie said Trump was not a self-made man, but a snake oil businessman, and Trump reportedly responded by calling Rosie a real loser, little fat Rosie, and a woman out of control. Trump has called Rosie names publicly many times, and she's hit back many times as well. Here's an example from 2011. "I feel sorry for Rosie's new partner in love, whose parents are devastated at the thought of their daughter being with Rosie, a true loser." Rosie responds with, "At Donald Trump, wow, you're an in every way." At number 2, it's Katy Perry versus Taylor Swift. Katy Perry and Taylor Swift actually used to be good friends. They were photographed together at award shows as early as 2009, but it seems the feud started in 2013, and it's rumored to have been over none other than John Mayer. Taylor and John were rumored to have dated. Then Taylor released a song called Dear John, I'm sure you're aware of it. A couple years later, Katy Perry posted a photo of her and John getting cozy. Then in 2014, Katy and Taylor got into a beef over dancers. Taylor was going on a world tour. She used 3 dancers who used to dance for Katy Perry. Then the dancers approached Katy to work with her on her world tour instead, and would have to leave halfway through Taylor's tour. In an interview with Rolling Stone, Taylor said that her song Bad Blood was about another female pop star who did something, quote, so horrible that it made them straight up enemies, adding that she basically tried to sabotage an entire arena tour. Adding, she tried to hire a bunch of people out from under me. Katy and Taylor Taylor threw shade at each other on social media, in their music, in interviews until 2017 when Katy finally apologized to Taylor. For now, it seems these two have buried the hatchet. Taylor sent Katy some cookies, Katy took a picture of it and said peace at last in the caption, but who knows if they're ever gonna be as good friends as they once were. And at number 1 on this list we have Bette Davis and Joan Crawford. I know I've already mentioned this in one of my other top 10s, no feud even comes close to this iconic. There were so many crazy incidents between these two that Ryan Murphy couldn't even get to them all in his miniseries Feud based on Bette and Joan. Like many a feud between two powerhouse women, this rivalry began because of jealousy. Joan was an accomplished actress, but she was getting older. Bette was the new hot young actress on the scene. Bette was also jealous of most of the men Joan had bagged, including Clark Gable and Franchot Tone, who ended up marrying Crawford even though Bette was in love with him. Crawford did try to win Bette Davis over, but all the flowers and gifts she sent to her next door dressing room were returned. Eventually, there was no mending to be done. They would talk about each other night and day. They would to the director every night. They're mutual friends, and this was especially difficult because they were co-stars for Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. In one scene of the movie where there was a fight scene, Joan had to ask for a body double because she was concerned that Bette Davis would actually beat the out of her. They would torment each other on set constantly, even while the cameras were rolling. And then when it came time for the Oscars and Bette Davis was nominated and not Joan, Joan Crawford poured some extra salt on the wound when Bette didn't win. She made it so that she would accept the award for all the other actresses nominated for Best Actress who couldn't be present there. And when Bette lost, Joan pushed past her and said, "Excuse me, I have an Oscar to collect." Iconic! Iconic! I love it. Alright guys, let's quickly wrap up this video with some comment features. Brittany Pierce said Charlotte sounds just like Kourtney Kardashian when she impersonates a mean girl voice, lol, love it. Is that like Kourtney Kardashian? Is this what Kourtney Kardashian sounds like? I don't know, I have a lot of voices. You're gonna have to be more specific than that. Guitar God said, I started watching I.O. months ago when lockdown first happened and I have been addicted ever since. Sick? That's cool, man. Appreciate the support. That's it for me. Leave a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. I'll see you guys next time. Hilary Duff. Hilary Duff? Excuse me.